What else is fresh?
What's fresh, sir? What is... Oh, that's so fresh.
Two guys talking without words.
Crack it open, sir.
Podcast. You can take our ideas.
Welcome back to the Pantless Podcast. Here's your host, Austin and Travis. Take it away, guys. What is going on?
Hey, we did it.
What have you been doing? Hey, you notice?
Are you okay?
Different side, I don't really know. I'm trying not to die.
He died for a second. You sound like that Red versus Blue. Like when he died.
Honestly, just trying.
It was at church when Church died.
If I don't think about it, I won't. I don't hurt as bad. So I'm trying not to die.
Okay, let's
So what have you been eating
not
this
do
week?
that then. I had some pretty decent pizza this earlier.
Oh yeah.
Some chicken Alfredo pizza. It's pretty sweet.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you?
I made some old school tuna patties and mac and cheese for the son's birthday dinner Sunday. Pretty dang tasty.
All right. Okay.
I have a love-hate relationship with those things because I love eating them, but I hate making them because they just take work to make, and I don't have a big enough cooking area to make a bunch at once, so I just have to make them in small batches, and it takes forever to cook them. But they're delicious once they're done. I don't know if you've ever had a tuna patty.
I don't think I have, but
When my mom used to run her daycare back when it was legal to do home daycares, she used to make them for us. For most of my childhood, my mom ran a daycare out of our house. So like during the summer when we weren't in school, there was like 11 kids, like me, my two brothers, and like 11 other kids, like in our house. Because mom just ran it, had just like the neighborhood kids. You know, their parents would drop them off to go to work, and mom would watch them all day. And they'd pay her to, and so we always had kids our age at the house. So there's those weird foods that mom used to make for the daycare that we got to eat. That was in the better days when we spent all of our time outside. All of our time outside. Not like these young kids today.
Yeah, they don't even know what outside looks like.
No, my kids are good thing. Hey, let's jump into this. Hey, let's talk some video games.
Okay, let's do it.
I want to start off by saying I started playing this new game last night. That I wasn't sure how much I was going to like it. It's on Game Pass. I was playing it on my Xbox. It was free on Game Pass. It's that game that's from the co-writer from Rick and Morty, High on Life. Okay.
I don't think I've heard of it.
Okay. Don't play it in front of children. It's kind of, a lot of the comedy is like adult only. It's got some language in it.
Okay.
It's hilarious. It's not serious at all. When you find it's a first-person shooter, is what it is.
Okay.
And your gun talks to you. Your gun is like a living alien. Has a face his face like looks at you, and he narrates the game for you.
Okay.
It's hilarious. And like when you finally get your knife, which the knife is called Knifey, it's got a face on it, and he's always wanting to murder and stab people. That's like his whole personality. He just wants to stab people. It's hilarious. I heard it's a very short game, so I'm hoping to finish it this weekend. I played about an hour and a half, 2 hours of it last night, and it kept me entertained. Try it out.
Okay.
You want
What's
me to
it called?
High on Life.
High on Life. Okay.
It's funny.
And it's on Steam?
Xbox.
Xbox. Okay.
Like I said, I downloaded it on Game Pass, so it's for if you have Game Pass, it's free on your Xbox.
Okay.
Other than that, I probably wouldn't have played it. It didn't look like a game I was willing to pay money for. And a guy at work says it's only about 10 hours long. It's a short game. So
okay.
Of course, I'm over here playing it. I'm probably gonna extend it out to 12 because I'm one of these. I've played these games so long that I'm always like looking in corners trying to find loot, and the game really doesn't have much. You do find these chests that once you get the knife, you can cut open, and you get coins out of them, but they're kind of few and far between, or they're just in weird places that you can't get to until you get different equipment. But it's an interesting game. Aliens invade Earth and are using humans as a drug.
Okay.
They are turning humans into drugs. So you have to try to save the Earth from becoming drugs by this alien cartel. That's kind of the premise.
For free, it doesn't sound too bad.
Like I said, even if you play it for a couple hours and you get a couple kicks out of it, I think it's worth it. So, the thing I really wanted to talk to you about. So I heard an interesting rumor about Pokemans the other day. I heard some weird rumors about Gen 9, the next generation coming out.
We're not in Gen 9 right now?
I think we're in 8. I heard some people talk about Gen 9. I don't know. Let's not argue about that.
Whatever the gen is after Scarlet Violet.
I think.
Or are we doing Scarlet Violet?
No, that's because I think DLC for Scarlet Violet is supposed to get announced in mid-February, early to mid-February. Which, excited to see what that is. But I heard, and this gets me kind of worried plus excited, that there's a rumor that Pokemon Company may reboot the entire series with the next generation.
Reboot the entire series as in...
Start all over. Because they just the national dex is at 1008 total Pokemon. 1006? 1006? Yeah, 1006. Because
we've never seen a national dex.
Golden Go, I think that's his name. The Gimme Ghoul's second evolution, the Golden Dude. He is actually number 1000 in the national dex.
How does anybody know that there's not a national dex with those Pokemon in it?
Yes, they had a video that dropped. It's about an 8-minute video that dropped on one of the websites that I watched. That goes through all 1006 Pokemon. All the way from Gen 1 up to the new gen. And it was the first actual reveal from the Pokemon Company of the evolutions for the starters and all of the legendaries from Scarlet and Violet.
I'm not following the reveal of the start. We've seen the starters.
The third evolution.
Why?
Like, Pokemon Company had not officially announced and revealed on any of their YouTube or their websites the actual final evolutions. We had to figure out the final evolutions on our own by playing the game. Like, the official artworks and all of, like, the official stuff on the website had never been dropped. And now, with this video, it has been. But I heard a rumor that they may start over? That we got over 1,000 Pokemon. The national dex is now over 1,000 Pokemon. They are, I guess, dancing around the idea of just starting over. Because
Right, but what does that mean? Are we
Ash is
everything
done.
that we've done is nothing? So the 1,000 are going to go away? Our home's going to be erased?
Here we are. We are done with this. Now let's start again. Yes, and like whole new universe, all new lands, probably a new battle system. Type all of the 16 types that we have gone. They're gonna because they're kind of stuck. If you notice, when was the last time we got a new type? Fairy type.
Fairy, yeah.
When was that?
Like 5 years ago, probably.
What was that, like Gen 5 or 6? They unveiled fairy types. That it was Steel wasn't.
I think
Was Steel type in Gen 1?
Steel was not in Gen 1. Steel and Dark and Fairy were not in Gen 1.
Okay.
Steel type came out in Gen 2, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, because that was with Steelix. And then Umbreon came the... But a reboot would be interesting. I don't know if it would be well received enough. But at the same time, how much further can they take what they have?
But do you see where I'm coming from? That doesn't even make sense. Like what that means? Because are they going to get rid of Pokemon Home?
Well, it's still going to be there because I think we're going to get Home compatibility with for Scarlet and Violet in February.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to say, like, hey, 1006, complete your decks. This is all we're ever going to release for Home. Pokemon Home. Or the new reset, you might be able to bring the new stuff in, but the old stuff can't go into the new games. It's not really, this is this and this is this. They can't intermingle, but they can all be put in Home. I don't know. Nobody knows any of. Let's leave Home alone.
Oh my gosh! Go Home.
How? Because Ash is. They're gonna kill Ash off. He's dead.
Stop.
They already said they're gonna reboot the anime. Anime is getting a restart.
Okay.
So, do they reboot everything with the anime reboot? That's kind of where this is stemming from, because they're saying that they want a fresh start with the anime because they don't want any of these old characters coming back. They just want to start something completely different. So do they reboot the series and reboot the game, just start all over? Be like, this is Gen 1. Still call it Pokemon, but make a completely new 150, a game with 150 brand new, nothing old.
That's what they did with Black and White when it came out. They did at the very end. It was marketed and released basically as a start over. Like, if you were into Red and Blue, you'll be into this because there's 150 Pokemon and they're all brand new.
That's right. Black and White.
You can't catch anything from any other generation until you beat the game. You beat the game, and then you got like a time warp mechanic, and but that was kind of how Black and White was. It was worse. You're starting over from scratch. You play through the entire game. You will never see a Pokemon you've ever seen before. It just won't happen. You're going to complete the dex, and then after you beat the game, then they're like, oh, by the way, now you can do this gimmicky thing to find Pokemon from other regions.
And they might do that again.
But at this point, because there's so many Pokemon games, like a reboot to me doesn't mean anything. Like, you could say we're going to reboot this, but that doesn't mean anything to me unless you are saying that I need to just forget about Pokemon Home, which seems like a big deal for everybody that has Pokemon Home that's worried about completing it. Now they're saying, yeah, you can delete that subscription because we're not going to support it anymore.
They're still going to, I think they're still going to support Home, and you know how they've done all the way up to Scarlet Violet. They were still releasing and dropping. You know, they have the, I don't remember where I put it, but they had the, you know, the marshmallow and the volcano and Genesect drops for Sword and Shield. They were doing those almost all the way up to Scarlet Violet release.
Right.
So they could still, you know, do promotional stuff. I think the VGC would still continue on with Scarlet and Violet. Those are the online tournaments. They could still be doing those with Scarlet and Violet, still drop all that, but then, and the reboot almost could be the next version of, like, Arceus. How they did that weird, how they kind of did that non-mainline thing with Arceus. Be like, hey, look at this. This is kind of a reboot. Let's start over. And they do it like mid-year, and then if they're like, everybody's like, I hate this, they're like, we're just joking. Here's the next generation.
Probably.
Here's denim and leather.
Denim. Was that the next one?
Yeah, I just came up with that. So
I don't know. We'll see. Doesn't make sense to me.
I just wanted to know
I'm not on the interwebs to know, but a reboot of Pokemon doesn't mean a lick to me. They could say we're rebooting the franchise, and I'm going to be like, what do you even mean by that? Because we get a new game. None of the games are tied into each other at all. There's not a continuous story,
no,
so there's not like.
Really.
So to me, a reboot doesn't mean anything to me.
It kind of excites a part of me to think that they're going to start a new creature-based catching game with all new mons, like a whole new, like, they could...
Like, will these monsters be digital monsters?
Yeah, we're getting Digimon, but Pokemon made. You know, because every game follows almost the same script. You've got Pokeballs being thrown by trainers. You're completing a Pokedex. There's 16 types, Pokemon types. You know, you're fighting other trainers. You're catching. You're completing the decks. You're fighting gyms. You're not fighting. You know, you're doing similar stuff to gyms. Whereas they could probably reboot it and be like, you know what? This is a completely new idea. Did you ever? What was the name of that game? God, I just
Mega Man Battle Network.
Not that one. No. It was that one. God dang it! It's doesn't bother me. There was that game that was supposed to be the Pokemon killer, and you caught. It was all ghosts. Like all the creatures you caught were like ghosts.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. It was like on the DS or something.
It was on the DS.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I never played it.
And they kind of marketed her the thing as like the Pokemon. It was funny how they called it the Pokemon killer because they were actually, you know, the monsters were ghosts.
It might have been called something like Pocket Ghost or something, but I know what you're talking about. I do remember seeing that, but obviously nothing came from it.
I remember when Tim tried to take over Pokemon.
I don't know what that is.
I remember when that one dropped.
Tim.
Because I almost bought Tim.
Takes over Pokemon.
What was the name of that stick? It's gonna bother me. Man, I remember when Spectrobes first came out. That was a old.
I don't know what that is either.
That was a DS game. Came out on the original DS. Don't play ads, you stupid website. Hold on. I didn't realize.
Have we talked about the leak or rumor of the Switch being done?
Done.
Done. They said that, not counting Pokemon, not counting Game Freak, but any Nintendo game, they said the Zelda game coming out in May is going to be the last big Nintendo game for the Nintendo Switch. And they are, after that, every big game, it's all going to be for Nintendo's next console.
I've heard that possible. Like, after Breath of the Wild 2, there aren't any Nintendo games that have been announced. Like,
and they said it's not going to happen.
Right now, it's believable. Because, like I said, nothing else has been announced. They haven't, like, Metroid Prime 4, everyone knows it's in development, but nothing's been shown for it. They've not mentioned us. Where's the follow-up to Mario Odyssey? Nowhere to be seen.
Yokai Watch is the game that you're thinking of.
I was gonna wait till we got done with this. I actually had brought it up. Yokai Watch, yeah. Trying to think, like, what major titles does Nintendo even drop? That's first party stuff. Like, we're not gonna get Mario Kart 9.
Nope.
We're not gonna get another Mario Party. Probably not. I mean, how are you gonna follow up Smash Brothers Ultimate? You called it Ultimate. You kind of drove yourself into a corner there.
That's not going to happen, right? They're done.
Sakurai said he's semi-retired. He may be working on a Kid Icarus, but I've heard he's kind of done with. Well, he did the last Kid Icarus.
The one for the 3DS, I think.
The one you had to turn sideways to play. But I've only
never played it.
The last Kid Icarus I played was on the Game Boy.
Ooh.
But yes, Yokai Watch was the game we were talking when I was talking of. Speaking of, I would like to see them go in a different direction with Pokemon. I don't know. Trying to predict what Nintendo's gonna do is almost impossible. There were rumors out that developers were given dev kits for a Switch Pro and were using it to develop games, but then we're told by Nintendo that wasn't going to happen, and they were given secret dev kits for the next something to start developing. And a lot of developers will be releasing their stuff on the next Switch. But until we hear a last minute, hey, this is what we're coming out with next, I'm still running my day one Switch.
I am too. But I do think if they release a Zelda edition of a Switch when Zelda 2 comes out, I'm probably going to pick that up.
Are you?
I'll probably have tax money right then, and the temptation, because I'm a Zelda fan, the temptation is going to be too great with me having money in my bank account not to get it. So, there are rumors that that's going to happen.
My plans are to try to get a Series S with my tax money this year.
I don't play enough Xbox for that.
That's why I'm going to look to get the S for $250. Is because I don't really play a whole lot either. My 1S is kind of getting old, and there are some games that are supposed to be coming out later this year that are going to not be available on the 1. That will be available on the Series S and X, but they're going to be free Game Pass games. their first-party Xbox games. So I'm just gonna replace this with a smaller profile because the Series S is like half the size of this brick I got over here, and I'm waiting for Starfield to come out, which is going to be Skyrim in space.
Oh my gosh. Don't call it Skyrim in space. That sounds terrible.
That's what. Okay. Fallout 3 in space.
Don't call anything in space. That just reminds me of like all of those horror movies that just were like, hey, we're Friday the 13th in space. It's lame. Here's Leprechaun in space. Stop it. It's so lame.
This is Doom in space.
Yeah, no.
This is like Star Trek, but it's in space.
Ah, that sounds decent. Okay.
It's like Star Wars, but it only happens on one singular planet.
That's like everything that's ever happened on Earth.
Nah, that's fair.
Yeah. Speaking of Star Wars, I'm super excited about that Ahsoka.
Oh yeah. It comes out in March?
I think it's in March. We are getting close.
Is that right? Am I accurate on that? Is March?
I'm pretty sure you're accurate. And I'm super excited about it. I've been waiting. I know Disney has put out stuff, but I haven't watched a Disney Plus show in a long time. I think that last Andor was the last one that I watched.
I didn't watch any of Andor.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
I need to finish Willow. They're not showing a release date for Ahsoka.
Somebody thinks it's March 12th. I don't know why they think that. They think it's going to be a 6-episode series.
I'm so happy they're letting Jon Favreau do Star Wars stuff. Such a good director.
He does a good job.
He directed the best, probably 2 of the best Marvel movies that's been done, but then they kicked him off directing for Marvel movies and they started to suck. He did the first 2 Iron Mans.
The first 2? Oh yeah.
Plus, he also acted in both in all the Iron. He's been in all. He's probably the most important character in all Marvel universe. Happy.
Oh, happy.
So, hey, did we? Speaking of movies,
Retro movie review.
Something happened with the movie?
Did we watch a movie this week?
Yo, Adrian, we did.
Adrian!
We watched Rocky.
I don't know if I've ever sat down and watched this movie start to finish.
I was thinking the exact same thing when I was watching it. I'm like, there's a lot of the stuff that I don't recall.
I don't know. Like, the final fight looked familiar. Like, I've watched that before. Like, I have a feeling that this is one of those movies that back in the day, they just, like, in school, when they just didn't have anything for us to do, this is one of those that they popped it in, and you watched, like, 30 minutes of it, class ended, and you went out, and then it never would, you saw the beginning, or they fast forwarded, you're like, we only have enough for a little bit, so just watch this fight for a minute. I watched a lot of half movies in school.
Yep.
I think we went to school back in an era when what they could show in class wasn't as regulated as it is now.
I think so.
We watched them.
Yeah, we watched Romeo and Juliet in 9th grade English, and now those actors are suing that company for their participation in that movie.
No, I remember watching Birds. Was that the? Was it Birds? Was that the one I'm thinking of? Was it that?
The Hitchcock film?
I think so.
That wasn't that bad.
I just remember there was a scene where all the birds pecked his eyes out, and it was pretty graphic.
I don't know. But yeah, I do remember the Half movies. That's how A Beautiful Mind was. That's us watching A Beautiful Mind was the first time I actually ever fully watched it because I only watched half of it in school. Because like, man, we'll just start A Beautiful Mind. There's no intention of ever finishing it. It wasn't like we'll watch it again tomorrow. It was literally, let's just watch A Beautiful Mind today because we have nothing going on, and then we'll just pretend that never happened.
What, in school?
Yeah,
I've loved that. We watched that movie recently, I think.
We did, yeah.
Love that movie. That's probably one of my favorite movies growing up, like from high school.
So I was so excited to watch it for this show because I'm like, hey, I remember algebra 9th grade, only getting to see the first 45 minutes of this movie, and being like, I want more.
Yeah, I own the VHS.
It took 20 more years to get more.
I owned that movie on VHS in high school. And I had like 3 VHS tapes. I just watched the 3 movies because that's all I had.
Nice.
I think I had one of the Batman movies. I think it's the one with the Joker and Two-Face. Multiplicity. And A Beautiful Mind were the 3 movies I had.
Nice.
I don't know why. Those are the only ones I had, but they're like my favorite 3 movies in high school.
Yeah. So we watched Rocky. So let's flip this disc. We watched Rocky.
We watched Rocky. This was...
I wonder what Metacritic has to say about Rocky.
What? You want to get into that already? You don't want to even know what I have to say about it? You don't even care about my thoughts and feelings?
I think we should save our thoughts for after Metacritic. Let's see if...
14 critics out of 100.
This is an all-time classic. I think they gave it a 75. No, a 76 because it took place in 1976.
You were fairly close. 70.
Okay.
I figured this one would have been one of those must-see certified fresh, certified or whatever. That certified fresh is Rotten Tomatoes, but wrong website. But I figured this would have been one of those real high, classic movies, but it's not. 218 users out of 10.
Let's say the users gave it a 7.9.
How wrong are you?
I don't know. How wrong am I?
Thought 8.6, but a very high score though.
That is a really high score, yeah. I was really impressed because this is a Sylvester. Was this his first movie that he wrote? I don't recall, but I was really impressed because I always take Sylvester Stallone, like, he seems like Rocky in real life. And I don't know if that's just my perception, but I just always get this, like, yo, I'm gonna write a show. I guess I'll star in the movie and I'll be a boxer. And it's just like, okay, you're kind of, I don't know how to say anymore without being mean, but I'm just really impressed with how it turned out.
Well, he did a few things before that, acting. I forgot he was in Death Race 2000 back in 75.
Death Race 2000 took place in 1975?
Yeah, it was based in the year 2000, but it was made in 1975.
Interesting.
So, this kind of would have been looks like this was his 3rd writing credit.
Oh, wow, okay.
He did an episode from a TV series called The Evil Touch in 73, and then he wrote additional dialogue for The Lords of Flatbush 74, and then he wrote Rocky in 76.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, he did the screenplay of First Blood.
Nice. That's when I might watch that Last Blood. I might watch that this weekend. Maybe.
Yeah. Now, First Blood, that was the first Rambo movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I always forget that the first Rambo movie wasn't called Rambo, because the second movie is called Rambo: First Blood Part 2. What are we? Why do we suck at naming movies in the 80s?
Who knows?
Because his Rocky movies were just called Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And then the sixth one is just Rocky Balboa. All right, but third credited writing, but first, I think it's the first movie he wrote.
Did a TV show, did some dialogue.
Yeah.
And then.
I feel like this movie would have been just as good if it would have been like an hour movie. And cut out some of that early stuff and then been like, alright, this is still a good boxing movie. But, still a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was kind of weird. Did you think it was kind of weird how his and Adrian relationship developed?
Kind of creepy.
It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
But once he got a little rapey, then she like totally came out of her shell and was like a normal human being after that. But
the whole
before that, she was like just very like in a shell, reclusive.
And he's got that "you will be mine" mentality.
Yeah.
Like I will have you. And then the scene in his apartment was just like, where's this going? I feel uncomfortable.
I was uncomfortable. I'm like, this would not happen today. This would not be on TV in a positive light anyway.
Yeah.
The girl won't fall for the guy. But then it happened, and then after that, she was like she never wore her glasses, was never wearing a shawl. It was like,
yeah. She
was
went
just
out
completely normal after that.
Did things, talked.
Yeah.
It was weird.
That was so weird.
So, critics, we had 10 positive, 4 mixed, 0 negative. Users, we had 197 positive, 14 mixed, 7 negative. The Hollywood Reporter gave it 100. On paper, neither character may seem terribly appealing, but on the screen they steal your heart away. But completely, not only did that last reel include some of the most widely exciting fight footage ever put on the screen, but it also provided an emotionally gratifying capstone to a picture that is truly an ode to the human spirit. Crazy. Fun fact, he lost that fight.
Right, yeah. I heard that. But you had to like really be listening to hear it, because it was a split decision. And then like you hear Apollo Creed gets the first judge.
Yeah.
And then obviously the second one's gonna be Rocky, because that's how all split decisions go. But then like you just hear faintly in the background the third judge went to Apollo Creed.
They start talking, and then the movie's just like over.
Yeah, you faintly, like, you have to really be listening, and you faintly hear Apollo Creed, but then, the movie ends. Yeah. Without, like, you don't see any hand raising or any, and they're like, asking about the rematch. He's already said, we're not going to rematch. I don't want a rematch. And they're like, are you going to rematch? He's like, no, I'm not going to rematch. And then we have Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, Rocky 5, Rocky Balboa, the Apollo Creed movie, the Apollo Creed 2.
There's 3 of those. I think they made 3.
Oh, there's 3 now?
I think they made 3
I
Creed movies.
I saw the first Apollo Creed with Michael B. Jordan, I think.
It's not
Creed?
It's just called Creed. Because it's Creed. It's Apollo Creed's son.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they made 3 Creed movies. The new it says Creed 3 2023. So I guess the third one hadn't come out yet.
Yeah. Oh snap! I better catch up on the second one.
So, all right. The Chicago Sun-Times gave it 100. By now, everybody knows who wins, but the scenes before the fight set us up for it so completely, so emotionally, that when it's over, we've had it. We're drained. You know what drained me? Was her brother and his the friend. I was done with that guy.
Right.
Like, Rocky, knock this guy out.
And it was funny when he was like, "Paulie, don't breathe on me." Like I'm like, like with all the whiskey, you know what his breath smells like. So you're like, I get that. Don't breathe on me, Paulie.
Real Views, 2E's, gave it an 88. The basic storyline has been done to death over the years. This is still one of the most effective and successful applications of the formula. But how many times had it been done
before
this?
Yeah. Agreed.
Unless this formula had been done 100 times in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Which it hadn't.
Time Out gave it an 80. I was going to be done, but I saw that and had to. Rocky is an old-fashioned fairy tale, brilliantly revamped to chime in with the depressed mood of the 70s. Although its plot, non-entity gets to fight the heavyweight champion. It's basically fantasy. The film definitely manages to suspend disbelief by drawing back at its more implausible moments. Was it really fantasy for big-time boxers to have exhibition matches against unknowns? I feel like that kind of stuff. I feel like that kind of stuff kind of happened happened more back then than it would now.
Yeah, I mean, we still see it nobody's like a total unknown, but we've seen like big-time boxers fight like people who are just like YouTubers. We're not going to name any names.
Yeah, I was about to name one of them, but yeah.
YouTubers that decide that I want to box. We've seen that happen.
Hey, you want to box? For ones and twos views.
Let's do it. Wait, no,
not yet canceled. Not yet canceled YouTubers.
Oh, speaking of. Nimble is a word.
What?
What?
What'd you say?
I said nimble's a word.
Oh, is it?
Nimble. Yeah.
Oh.
Cancel me.
Cancel.
Thanks.
All right. Let's see what Nell Minnow has to say.
Oh, we've had Nell a few times.
We have.
Okay.
Got me excited.
All right.
Shh. Did we say Nell was a she? Can we go that far?
Do you think so? I always thought of Nell as a male. Nell the male.
Okay. Nell.
But you
say Nell.
We'll just say Nell, and let's use they them because that's approved.
Nell.
No, let's assume their gender. You assume that it's a female. I'll assume that it's a male, and we'll just go on from there.
11 plus 4 stars. Boxing Best Picture sets underdog hero standard. Drinking.
Okay.
That was just in the movie description. Starting off strong. 25 parents. 11 plus 4 stars.
Oh, wow.
87 kids. 10 plus 4 stars.
Interesting. Okay.
Again, my 10-year-old will not sit down long enough to watch this movie.
Yep, agreed. Nor would mine.
Tag it now. Stands out for positive role models. Gets a star for that.
Not present, not clickable.
Which will
All right.
Positive messages.
Man, this is a positive message. I would give it a 4 out of 5. It's way up there.
You could. Nell gave it a 3 out of 5.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Inspiring messages about hard work and perseverance. Working toward a goal despite difficulties. The importance of love and companionship. Other themes include self-control and gratitude. You don't do that while you're training for a fight.
Right.
None of that while we're training.
Women will give you weak legs, right?
Weak legs. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. Okay. Positive role models. Now, remember.
So I know it stands
out for positive role models. So
I just can't. He had some good qualities, but he wasn't that I would give him a 3.
Okay, but remember, we started this with a stands out.
Yes, it stands out. So did Nell give it a 5?
No, give it a 4. But it stands out.
It stands out, yeah.
So, but yes, he did do some knee knocking. And some
he did some knee knocking. He actually also restrained himself from breaking thumbs.
He didn't break thumbs because he knew the guy was good for the money, which they never came back to that.
Yeah.
I thought he was about to break that driver's nose, but he restraint.
Yeah. He was a little rapey. It's kind of weird. But I guess I was okay back in the 70s.
But he didn't do one. He just
He
had that. He kind of had that.
He had the vibes.
Yeah, stalker vibes. Let's not use the other word. Let's say stalker vibes. Kind of creeper vibes. So
that's true. Yeah. But he was all about like protecting the ladies from the creeps. There's a creep around every block.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That made me laugh. Yeah. So Nell gave this a 4. Positive role models. Okay. Rocky is an admirable underdog character. Though he drinks and smokes and has a difficult time verbalizing his thoughts, he cares about the people around him and gives them good advice. He is kind to those who have not always shown him respect and loves animals. His perseverance is inspirational. He only had those turtles and talked to that dog at the pet shop because she worked there. Like, if she was at like some place that sold plants, his whole house would be full of plants.
Yeah. He'd had some Venus flytraps.
Yeah.
Some dandelions. Wait, no, that's a weed. Daffodils.
But he only had the animals because she worked in the pet shop.
Yeah.
Because that whole awkward.
I like how he named his goldfish Moby Dick. It's like, you guys want to see Moby Dick?
So, hey, I mean, perseverance, man. All right, violence and scariness.
It was a boxing movie, so there's got to be violence. I would really only give it I can give it a 3. I was thinking 2, but I'll give it a 3 because there was the scene where his eye was swollen and they had to cut it, and there was like blood.
Ooh, I actually I knew what was coming, and I just kind of looked away for a minute because that's not my thing. Especially if they kind of just show it. I'm like, that's too real. That's like the fake.
It was pretty real.
The fake violence, like a lot of like fantasy violence I can watch, but when it's like that could actually happen to me, that's when I can't. I'm like, oh, no, I don't do blood well. Nell would agree with you with a 3.
Okay.
You two are right in line. Polly becomes violent and trashes a room with a baseball bat. Weird scene.
Okay.
He is also verbally demeaning to his sister. The final scene includes a brutal boxing match.
Okay.
Which,
okay.
Honestly, it felt like a tame boxing match for the 70s. A little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
there was, I guess, implied brutality, but you really didn't get to see a lot of actual blows landing. You saw the aftermath. You saw a lot of
the blood afterwards.
Way up, bird's eye view in between rounds, and then their faces slowly becoming disfigured.
I thought it was well done cinematography. They did it well. Like they were able to make it look like a real boxing match, but not have to actually have them beating the crap out of each other.
Right.
And they didn't have to put in a lot of special effects or, So, yeah, well done to the actual filmmaker.
Yep.
Sex, romance, and nudity.
A 1.
No, gave it a 2.
Okay.
Some kissing and minor sexual discussions.
Oh, I guess maybe with Polly and Rocky defending her honor, but like
the young girl that he walks home.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
that was hilarious. I'm gonna have to use some strong language here. Just warning you, I gotta use some strong language. I gotta do it. Then he kind of says it kind of under his breath the first time. Like it was awkward for him to say it. Because he didn't... We're going to get in that in the next one, but he didn't actually cuss at all.
I don't think so.
Like his character was pretty clean.
There might have been like... They might have said the A word, like I'm going to kick your A, but maybe not. Maybe not.
The old man... Mickey, he told those girls when they came for the signatures or for the autographs to get your your A's out of here.
Okay.
That was like the first time I really actually heard it, but I think there was some more there was a couple times when he was walking the streets.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into it, but I don't really recall it. I'd probably give it a 1, just assuming, but we'll do that then whenever we get there.
That's right now. We're right there.
All right, there. Okay, I'd give it a 1 only because I'm assuming that language was used, but I don't really recall it. I think it was a pretty clean movie.
I guess Nell gave it the score of how many words they heard. Gave it a 3 because there was 3 words mentioned.
Okay.
Infrequent language. Screw you. Don't let your kids hear that one.
Use some strong language.
A-hole. And the W word. That he was talking to the girl about.
Yeah.
And that's
okay. Yeah, okay.
Real clean movie. Because I didn't hear any...
W word and...
Nope.
Those I'm not really... I'm like, meh.
No racial slurs, no strong language. Real actual clean movie.
Yeah.
Is it strange that I'm surprised that a movie from the 70s was really that clean?
It was very really all fronts. It was.
Mm-hmm. I guess because I'm used to watching more 80s stuff, where 80s stuff was just unnecessarily full of stuff.
Yeah.
When it didn't need to. Products and purchases.
Man, I want to say not present.
Well, you'd be agreeing with Nell.
Okay.
I was looking for stuff, and I'm really surprised that there really was no name brand stuff, and because even the beers that they were drinking was really, I never could tell what the logos were saying. And even like in the boxing matches, there were no like banners or billboards advertising anything like there would actually be in a boxing match. So, well done, not present. Drinking, drugs, and smoking.
Oh, Paulie was drinking through the whole thing. Rocky was smoking. I would probably only give it a 2, but I bet Nell gave it a 3. I'd give it a 2.
Nell gave it a 3. Paulie is an alcoholic who carries a bottle of whiskey in his pocket. Who didn't in the 70s? He often becomes hot-tempered or violent due to excessive drinking. Rocky smokes cigarettes and drinks, but quits both during training. So, I think you saw him drinking and smoking because at the beginning of the movie he just got off a fight.
Yeah.
So he kind of
loosened up a little bit.
Yeah. But aside from like the 2 bars he went into, or maybe the one, was it not hilarious when he walked up to that when he right before the first time you saw Paulie? He walks up the sidewalk, and that guy passed out on the sidewalk. He picks him up, carries him into the bar, and sets him. Oh, you got to drink it, buddy, and sets him there. Then walks off, and like, who was this guy he picked up?
Yeah.
Like I thought, oh, they're gonna come. No, they didn't come back to this at all.
Never. No. And the other guy though, was really funny. He was so wasted. He was like, I think he might even said, "Hey, how you doing?" Like he was just so wasted and out of it. He didn't realize this other guy was more wasted than he was. That was really funny.
Because neither one of those 2 characters were anywhere else in the movie.
Yeah.
Like what just happened? Is Rocky the nicest guy in the world?
Pretty much, yeah.
True. Yeah, it's just crazy. All right. What parents need to know?
What do we need to know?
Another one of those show less and it just darkens the bottom line instead of actually showing me more or less. So you could just, have it. Hate it when they do that. Parents need to know that Rocky is a classic underdog boxing tale that includes plenty of boxing violence. Plenty.
Not plenty.
Not really that much. Like at the beginning and then at the end. Calm down there, Nell. Plus, a secondary character smashes up a room with a baseball bat when angry. I didn't think that was that impactful of a scene.
Nope.
This same character drinks heavily. Can ignore it. Rocky and his girlfriend move in together. Did they?
After Paulie destroyed that house with a baseball bat,
she showed up with the dog.
She said, "You want a roommate?" And he said, "Absolutely."
Oh,
and then she slept in the bed, and he slept on the couch the whole time. But so they did move in together, but
I guess I just. Oh, was that in his apartment when he came in and laid in the bed with her? And he was like having that kind of crisis, that kind of existential crisis near the right before the fight.
Yeah, that was in his apartment.
That was in his apartment. Okay.
Yeah.
The dog scene was hilarious. Was there just weird scenes where he kind of just acted like a child?
Oh yeah.
Like, where he was like super like just innocent and just childlike.
Yeah.
Like, that was interesting. I think he was just a simple man. Just a simple.
He was just a nice guy that had just the biggest heart. no quit in them, and lots of muscles.
Yeah, yeah, and broke, poor.
Oh yeah, yeah. That scene where they finished their like that brutal fight at the beginning. It wasn't really brutal, but you know they were both beat up at the end, and that guy's going through and he's like, all right, you lost, so you know here's your base pay minus $15 locker fee minus $7 laundry fee minus 7% tax. You get $16. Rock, you won, and he runs through it, and you get $40. And then like they're just both like exhausted and beat up and walking away with one with $16, the other with $40.
Well,
which I mean in the 70s was significantly more money than it is now. Well, but still,
that shows the time. There's a different scene where there's the time difference when he's taking her to the skating rink, and the guy's like 10 minutes, $10. He's like $8. He's like $10. Yeah. He's like, how about $9? Like nowadays, like $10 is like, yeah, I'll give you $10 for going ice skating. Like he was like negotiating over $10.
Yeah. His counter was 8. It's like 10's a little steep. It's knocking down to 8.
But that's some negotiating. That's like, I know you're saying 10. I know you won't go as low as 4 or 5. That's insulting. But if I can get you down to at least 8, and still paid 9. No, I think he still paid 10.
No, he still paid 10. Yeah, it was still $10. The guy was very firm. $10.
Then she skated, and he just walked beside her. Hold on a minute.
Okay.
The wife just finished her All Might costume.
For what? Is she going to Comic-Con?
She's going to a con this weekend.
Nice.
I like it. She's going as young Deku dressed in All Might jammies. So she made the All Might jammies.
That is fantastic. But what makes her Deku?
Well, she's got the green Deku wig.
Okay.
And she's wearing All Might jammies.
Like a onesie.
Yeah. It's full. It's like a bodysuit.
It's a onesie.
Yeah, onesie. And she's got an All Might figurine that she's gonna carry with her and bring her hands up.
Nice.
So
I like it.
She just finished it and came up front to show me. It looks good. She told me she was gonna interrupt me. And back, I don't know if I'm gonna cut that or not. We might just leave that in.
Leave it in. It's fun. That was fun.
Hold on.
Okay.
Huh? Yes.
This one's gonna have to be cut.
Yeah, that one. That
one will be cut.
So here's a parent. Okay. I gotta read this one because I don't. Whoa, wrote a novel. Wrote more than the person that reviewed it. This person, adult, reviewed this 1 year ago on this website.
Oh, wait, just a year. Okay, 2022.
So that makes a lot more sense with what they're saying here. 13 plus 3 stars. Lots of inappropriate things. Domestic and sexual violence, not for 11-year-old.
Okay, didn't see any of that.
We're usually on the permissive side and let our 11 years old kid, obviously they don't English well, they don't grammar well, see movies rated for 12 years old. But this movie, there are several things that we think are better suited for 13-year-old minds.
What movie? When have they ever? They're like, all right, you're 11, so you can watch our PG-12 movies. There is no such thing as a PG-12 movie. What are you talking about right now? Are you Canadian? Maybe they're Canadian. Should we give them a pass because they're Canadian?
If there's a movie that I'm like, I don't want my kid. Normally, I say that movie my kids can't watch. Like, and if it's a movie my kids can't watch, I really would rather them not watch it until they're adults.
Right.
There's a lot of movies. Well, you're 12 now. You can go watch this movie. I'm unlocking more movies because you're now a year now. Now, they say W several times. Talk about girls that are W's if they are in the streets with young men. 12-year-old teenagers are drinking in the street. Are they 12?
They never say. You don't know how old they are.
They look like older teenagers. Maybe even in the early 20s.
I thought they were in the 20s. Those doo-wop singers?
Yeah, and the kids that he pulls that young girl away from. But were they?
Yeah, she could have been. I could see she looked like she might have been 14 or so, maybe. But those other guys, and then he says, you guys get better every year. Like they do it all. They've been going on for years, so they're not. They haven't been just sitting out at 11 o'clock at night as a 10-year-old doo-wopping. Now they're 12 2 years later.
This says 12-year-old teenagers are drinking in the streets. There's a lot of swearing.
12-year-old teenagers?
Yeah, 12-year-old teenagers are drinking in the street. I didn't even catch that the first time.
12-year-old teenagers.
There's a lot of swearing, too.
They're 25 years old. Not a lot of swearing.
But for me, the worst part is the violence against women that is displayed in several scenes in different degrees, not only verbal, but also with violence, and not only from Rocky's friend, but also from Rocky that forces her in several negative ways, not letting her leave his apartment when she tries to, and somewhat forcing her to be kissed by him, all behaviors that have been proven to be sexual violence. With a 13-year-old that knows more about sex and about sexual behavior and what can and cannot be accepted as possible to explain the inappropriate behaviors they are seeing, and can better understand what is going on. The movie is also very slow for 11-year-old. That's the only thing I agree with what this person's saying.
Yeah, I also agree.
With the boxing action that begins 5 minutes and at the end of the film, our kid was absolutely bored. So if that kid is bored, they're not picking up on any of that domestic violence you're talking about. If you're saying this is so boring that they lost their concentration on it, what kid is also just I'm bored. Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
Adult stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Disagree with them.
You got to watch out for those 12-year-old teenagers.
We call those 25-year-olds, ma'am. Go back to Canada and stop reviewing American movies.
It says too much violence, too much swearing, too much drinking, drugs, and smoking. 2 people found this helpful.
How do they even know it's helpful? Like, what if it's just wrong? Like, thanks for helping out. We won't watch the movie. There were no drugs in this movie.
Just hit report.
So, you're a liar.
This adult 2 years ago, 15 plus 2 stars, inappropriate treatment of women.
Wow.
You gonna plural that? You mean if I'm gonna agree with you, it's inappropriate treatment of woman. There was really only one in the movie, really.
Just one. Yeah.
Something that seems to be glazed over in other reviews is the total abusive treatment of Adrian by her brother and the absolute inappropriate scene in Rocky's apartment after his date with her. There's no sex or nudity, but she says no to him multiple times and tries to leave. He prevents her from leaving and blocks her in, then forces a kiss on her. She relents and they end up together, but that's definitely something young boys and girls should know is not right or appropriate. No means no. Well, everybody knows that. Well, I mean, everyone should know that. I mean, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying 11 and 10 plus, but You show me a 10-year-old teenager that'll sit down and watch this movie.
Yeah. I've got a 9-year-old teenager, and he wouldn't watch this. My 11-year-old teenager wouldn't watch it either. She'd be bored to death, so.
My 4-year-old teenager.
We go, ooh, puppy.
My 14. She, ooh, a turtle.
Yeah.
He has a dog.
So goodness. What are we watching next week, sir?
Well, we talked last week about that movie Possums as a football movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I'm down. It's on Freevee, right?
I think that's where I seen it. Yes. I haven't seen this movie in forever.
Let's do it. Watch an Okie movie.
Yeah, filmed in Oklahoma. It's saying free. It's gonna be with ads on Freevee. So.
We'll probably start it Monday.
No, don't do that. So yeah.
All right.
So
that's what we're watching.
Oh, that's not. I typed in. I guess there was a horror movie also called Possum.
Oh, I would actually like to accidentally watch that one instead. That would be hilarious.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah, no, that's the one we're gonna watch.
Possum.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Nowata, Oklahoma. So.
All right. Yes, sir. Do we have anything else?
No.
Call it.
I think I'm gonna. More than likely, I'm probably gonna get out here and die.
Yeah, you need to.
I'm actually not hurting as bad as when we first started, so.
It's good. That Dr. Pepper's flowing through your veins.
God, that's probably what's making it worse, but I had to have something. It was that.
All right.
I know we didn't talk about it, but it's the stinking internet that caused my heartburn and made me want to die. Stinking internet.
Tech internet. Burn it to the ground.
Gerd dang internet. Or hold on.
Oh God.
Oh, there it is. Got it. No, they didn't see it because of the banner.
Oh, lame.
There it is. All right.
Later.
We're losers.
I can't even see me. Why am I waving? They can't see me.
I don't know what you're.
Oh, I can see the new font. Hey, that's look good. I like it.
You like that?
I do.